All right, so we've established that Paul is obsessed with the Corinthians' penises, and what happened is Apollo was trying to put rules on the women, and Apollo's like a gay guy in like Corinth. Like if his name is Apollo, oh, the gay guy is giving me rules. The gay guy who is bringing the plague is bringing me rules, but the gay guy is the best person ever. But he said, but so Prisca, whose name is first, clearly because titles matter. Trust me, I'm about to show you. Takes Paul aside and says like, here's the law. None of us are named Prisca because like we don't want to go against Jewish people. Like I don't know. I know Priscilla. I know Priscillas. Yeah, Mexicans. But still, Paul's kind of the shit because like Paul says like women, you need to like be submissive to your man like sexually and he says to men like you need to be submissive to your woman. So like if she wants to do something, you need to be down for it. But he's also about like monogamy. He's pretty serious about it. So the Satan there is called Satanus. I guess that's what they're using in Satan in the Greek, which is the accuser, and I am the accuser of the Jewish religion. All right, now we're back to the guy who will build the Christian church. He will turn the Jews into Christians, which is what the Christian church was, and he will bring in like Gentiles that are like the shit. Like maybe my friends in Corinth. In the same way, you wives, be submissive to your husbands, so that even if any of them are disobedient to the word, they may be won without a word by the behavior of their wives, as they observe your chaste and respectful behavior. All right, so that's logos there, and like clearly there's an objective. Like you are like trying to like influence a person's behavior. Like you want to influence the person's behavior that you're in a relationship with. Like you want to make your relationship better. Like you want to have your interactions like feel good. You don't want to be in like a bad situation. So like sometimes a lot of time it is much better to be submissive, and if a person wants to be submissive, then you need to figure out how to be dominant because like there's nothing wrong with them wanting to be submissive with you. He's clearly worried about how the church will look to the Jewish people, especially, and like to the entire world. Like people that are super sluts, like you do kind of want to watch out for them. Like, I mean, do you love me? All right, so I've talked about how Peter's close to the Tao. He's a Stoic. Lao Tzu says, the best man is like water. Water is good. It benefits all things and does not compete with them. It dwells in lowly places that all disdain. This is why it is so near to the Tao. He says, manifest plainness, embrace simplicity, reduce selfishness, have few desires. My religion keeps me out of trouble that much. Like, I am not a show off. All right, so we're on to verse 3. He's already talked about how it's good to have like chaste behavior, and like he's especially talking about it in that culture more than any culture. But like clearly, like if you're part of the group of people I'm putting together, I don't want you to like make us look bad, and that's like you don't want to use sex to like it. Like everybody on the internet apparently is like, how do you make money? Like I just have sex with that guy, and that might be okay like if you actually are like with that guy, but I feel like it's like kind of a rich guy having sex with a lot of people situation. But here he sounds pretty stoic and pretty Taoist. So, and let not your adornment be merely external braiding the hair and wearing gold jewelry or putting on dresses, but let it be be the hidden person of the heart with the imperishable quality of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is precious in the sight of God. For in the ways in former times the holy women also who hoped in God used to adorn themselves, being submissive to their own husbands. Thus Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, and you have become her children if you do what is right, without being frightened by any fear. All right, so one thing to mention real quick is like he is very insistent about like the title situation here. He is talking to like Turkey. Clearly, Priscilla's name is always in front of Paul's, and Acts is something they would read. And when Priscilla and Aquila heard Paul, I think it was Paul, preaching in the synagogue, they took him aside and explained the way of God even more accurately. I'm not 100% sure if it was, I mean, I can't imagine it's anyone but Paul, because, like, how are they going to explain it to Peter? Aquila was a Jew. Do I believe in this stuff? I believe in that society, like, a gentle and quiet spirit is the best thing you can ever have, and, like, if you're a woman, like, and you're trying to, like, get ahead, you might want a gentle and quiet spirit, and you don't know that that's how you get ahead. and that like everyone just like you don't have to try to like hide your light. I think that's what Jesus would say. Like you can be who you are, but like it doesn't mean that sometimes it's just like better to be low key. And I do think that like the Bible thinks that men should have gentle and quiet spirits until they need to have strong spirits. And like I think like there's nothing I believe more than that the Bible believes that like Jesus sits there and like doesn't say it. So verse 7 says, "You husbands likewise live with your wives in an understanding way as with a weaker vessel, since she is a woman, and grant her honor as a fellow heir of the great grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered." To sum up, let all be harmonious, sympathetic, brotherly, kind-hearted, and humble in spirit. So once again, we're talking about ikhwan, and also like you're humble in your trust of the Holy Spirit. It sounds like harmony exists in the Chinese culture when everyone can eat. The Chinese word for harmony, and it's an important concept. And like he is definitely in favor of harmony. So in that society, women were especially weaker because that was like a society where like David will take over your like country by killing someone for you, like right in front of everyone, because they'll beat that guy's ass. I think the goal of like the kingdom of heaven is like for women to not have to be stronger, because the reality is that like in the Muslim world and in a lot of the world, like in India, like in rural India, like women are weaker, and the fact that they're weaker leads them to like be taken advantage of, and like for bad things to happen to them, and they have a certain role in their society like based on their like physical strength. And I think the goal of the kingdom of heaven is for like it to spread, and for like people to protect women everywhere. And like when Peter says this, I have absolutely no problem with anything he says here, because like it is that important to like you have to like understand like she is weaker, and because she's a woman, and you need to grant her honor as fellow heir of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered. You will not ever be heard by God if you're not making sure that like she is that like she is okay as a weaker person. And like I think like if there's anything like Islam does, is it like says you're a weaker person, you need to be hidden. And like if there's anything that Christianity says is like a city on a hill can't be hidden, and like she needs to shine, and like a woman can shine that much for God and for like her society, and they can be that important. And like there's nothing I believe more than like women have had like their light like covered, especially because of Paul. Because Paul is like having like, because they don't know that Paul had to go talk to Prisca, because like it doesn't even say it. Like they don't want to embarrass Paul, but like they like have to say to those people like we did have to go talk to Paul. And like Paul is like changing as he's writing. And like I feel like I rejected Paul at a somewhat early stage, especially when like he was so against homosexuality. All right, I got to finish this section because I didn't even finish the sentence. Apparently, it's got a semicolon. We're doing verse 8. So to sum up, let all be harmonious, sympathetic, brotherly, kind-hearted, and humble in spirit, not returning evil for evil or insult for insult, but giving a blessing instead. For you were called for the very purpose that you might inherit a blessing. For let him who means to love life and see good days refrain his tongue from evil and his lips from speaking guile, and let him turn away from evil and do good. Let him seek peace and pursue it. For the eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous, and his ears attend to their prayer. But the face of the Lord is against those who do evil. And who is there to harm you if you prove zealous for what is good? I think the hardcore Christians want to be a martyr, and that's like the craziest thing about sending me to the Middle East. It's like cool. Like, I mean, as long as they like get to like know me, and I feel like I haven't done a very good job at explaining like my whole religion. But sometimes like you have to be patient, and you also know that if you kill me you get Apollo. Like I always know it. I like you don't have to tell me his name's Apollo. Like how did I find that Paul's name was Apollo? Because like someone told me you should read Corinthians. By someone told me, it's like my head. So like, do I have the Holy Spirit? I mean, clearly like I had to read Corinthians. But I know Corinthians is where like Apollo is having trouble with the women so much.